The stranger nodded. He raised his arm, making a small gesture with his hand, a signal. I was afraid it might come down to this. You have no idea who I am, do you? If you did, you might think twice about threatening me. I doubt it. Are you going to set my sister free or not? What I am going to do is give you one last chance to walk away. You should take it. All at once, there were 3 men standing behind him, crewmen from his vessel, from the look of them, big and strong, hard men, much older and undoubtedly more experienced at fighting than Paxson. They carried no weapons, but gnarled hands and muscular arms suggested they did not need them. The stranger had quit smiling. Drop your iron bar, Paxson, he said. Let's make this fight more even. Fists only. To Paxson's surprise, he did as he was ordered. He couldn't have explained why. It just seemed that it was something he had to do, and so he did it. He stared down at his discarded weapon, horrified. Much better. The stranger stepped back, and his men stepped forward. Don't hurt him too much, he told them. Don't break anything. Just show him the terror of his ways. They came at Paxson in a rush, slamming into him with such force that they knocked him off his feet. They were on top of him instantly, fists pummeling him as he tried to fight back. He might have landed a few good blows in the struggle, but in the end, there were still 3 of them and only 1 of him, and he was overwhelmed. Eventually, the pain and the shock caused him to lose consciousness. When he came awake again, a hand was slapping his face in a rhythmic fashion, while another was holding him up his head by his hair. The stranger was kneeling before him. My name is Arcanon. If you wish to pursue this, you can find me at Dark House in the city of Wayford. You should stay away, but if you can't help yourself, you had better bring a real weapon, not an iron bar, because if I see you again, I will kill you. He rose and stood, looking down. Let him go. The fingers tangled in his hair released their grip, and his face slammed into the earth. Pain exploded in his head, and bright flashes appeared behind his eyelids. He lay helpless, fighting to stay conscious, but it was long minutes later before he could bring himself to open his eyes and turn himself over to discover that the stranger's airship had begun to lift off. Light sheaths gathering in sunlight for the radiant draws to channel into the parse tubes. Thrusters powering up. As battered as he was, as defeated as he felt, he found himself admiring the sleek lines of the vessel, wondering again why he had never seen this sort of airship before. He made himself memorize her look, the emblems on her pennants, the insignia on her bow, a black raven, wings spread, beak open wide, attacking. Then the vessel wheeled south and sped away. By the time Paxson was back on his feet, she was little more than a dot in the distant sky. He stood looking at nothing for a few moments, waiting to recover from his beating, then turned about and stalked from the airfield. He had really never had a chance at getting Chris back from the stranger. Arcanon, that was his name. He wouldn't forget. He had provided it willingly, something Rafe had refused to do, so he was confident that it wouldn't help Paxson to know it. He was a man possessed of a new style of airship and a crew that likely would do anything he asked them to. Somehow he had been able to persuade Paxson to put down the iron bar when that might have made the difference in the fight. And he had Chris in his possession. He was flying her back to Wayford, to something called Dark House. Paxson could only imagine what that might turn out to be. Come find out, Arcanon had challenged, believing Paxson would never dare to do so, that he had found out the hard way what would happen if he did. The beating was a warning. Stay away. Don't come after me. Let your sister go. She belongs to me. I can do with her what I like, and you can't prevent it. You shouldn't try. You are a Highlander of no importance, living in a place of low regard, and you can never hope to be the equal of me. Stay where you are, and stay healthy. He left the airfield and trudged through the city toward home, picturing Arcanon's face and hearing his smooth voice in his mind. So certain that Paxson had been put in his place, while he was in for a surprise.